Kitty, you need
Hello,
to know.
everyone. My name is Jacqueline with She Writes Studios, and welcome to today's Authors Celebration Live. We are thrilled to welcome back Anisa Crespo as we celebrate Thank God It's Monday, choosing to create a life you love to live, an an inspiring anthology featuring 11 powerhouse women who choose purpose over pressure. And just a quick announcement to you ladies, this book has already made waves, becoming the bestseller in the US and the UK across multiple categories, proving that women are ready to redefine success and reclaim their energy every day of the week. So if everybody's ready to create that life that excites you, not just on weekends, but in every single day, this is your sign. So let's dive in and celebrate. How's everybody today?
We're really excited. Thank you so much for taking the time to share this for us.
Yes, thank you.
Wonderful. Well, I am excited for you as well, for you guys. I know that your book just made a huge wave. So we are bestseller in the US under four categories in Kindle Store, Women in Business, in Kindle, and Women in Business in Books, and then biographies and memoirs of women. We also ranked number 26 in new releases in Women in Business and number 57 and new releases in Women in Business. So congratulations, you ladies.
Yay! How exciting!
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, to get us started, why don't we go around the studio here and introduce yourself? Let us know, a little bit about yourself, and maybe let's start with the title. Thank God it's Monday. What does that phrase mean to you personally?
Yeah, so I'll just jump in and start here. So I'm the creator of Thank God It's Monday. As everything in this world, it all started as an idea. And it really came about when I decided to leave my six-figure corporate job to chase my dreams, go all in on my business, bet on myself. And it came from stemming from this feeling of anxiety every Sunday evening when I was preparing to go back to work the next day. So I had a great job. Like I didn't leave any kind of a toxic environment or anything like that. But at the end of the day, it was a very stressful, demanding job. So I would be preparing all of this stuff, anticipating the nonsense and things that I would have to go through for the week coming up. And I just realized that I wasn't living in my purpose. And although I was there for 10 years, it served me well for 10 years. I served the company well for 10 years. I have evolved so much. And I wanted a life where I could jump out of bed with excitement every single morning, even on Monday, because people dread Mondays for the most part when they're in the workforce and they're just living their life for the weekend. Like they're just getting through the week, powering through. And there's a phrase, thank God it's Friday. And I said, I want to have a life and create a platform where women can say, thank God it's Monday, because we're so ingrained in our purpose and what we do. We love everything that we do, the people we serve, and the business that we've chosen, that we're happy to get out of bed and go to work every day.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much for creating this wonderful anthology, Anisa. Who would like to share next?
Julie, go for it.
I'll go since I'm next to it, Nisa. So, oh my gosh, I started to read a little bit about in the anthology on the Kindle, and I kind of like my jaw dropped when I read Anissa's Million Dollar Mondays. Don't we all want $1 million Mondays? So I am so excited to be part of this venture. I'm an executive coach, and I burned the boats, if you will, in January and left my job to be a full-time entrepreneur. And what Monday morning means to me is everything Anisa just talked about, but I want to segue into another piece that's included in the book that I'm so happy to be able to include, which is my daughter's company. Monday Morning Creative. And they started their business because they want business owners to, Anisa, jump out of bed, be excited that it's Monday, and have a killer website, have killer branding, be able to be excited to work their business. And I have now been able to anchor my life into full-time entrepreneurship and be so excited about Monday mornings. It's a whole different mindset than Sunday scaries. And when you're sitting there over the weekend thinking, oh my gosh, in 8 hours or 48 hours on Friday night, it's going to be Monday morning again. It's a whole different mindset. So I'm so excited to be part of this book and empower business owners and empower women in general to be excited about Monday again. So that's a little bit about me and my chapter. And I'm just so excited to be here.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much, Julie. Yes, Natasha.
Tamika, it's all you.
Oh, man. Oh. So for me, my chapter talks about Monday being a chance to reset, refocus, and embrace new opportunities. So I kind of broke down the acronym of Monday: M, motivation; O, opportunities; N was for new beginnings; D, determination; A, action; and Y, saying yes to yourself every day. As a reminder that Mondays is a chance to reflect, right? Press reset and embrace the world with new opportunities. I also have affirmations, and I just want to give you this one Monday affirmation that I say every Monday when my feet hit the ground in the mornings. Thank God it's Monday. I welcome this new week with strength, purpose, and gratitude every Monday.
That's
Oh,
awesome. Thank you so much,
hey,
Lisa.
Dina. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, ladies?
Good. We're just introducing ourselves and a little bit about your chapter inside of the book.
Cool. Is it my turn?
You can jump in, yeah.
You can share, yes.
My name is Dina. My chapter is about three stories about my life, one about my son, and how we even came up with days of the week and how it's so foreign to young kids. I think it's really interesting as a mom. um, we kind of impose our beliefs on our kids. And then I tell a story about how sometimes when you go on a long vacation, how you don't even know what day of the week is, and it's so freeing because you're, hiking, and you're like, oh, it doesn't even matter what day of the week it is. It just really matters about sunrise and sunset and the time of day, not necessarily the day of the week. And then I did another story about how sometimes you take all your time and you devote it to something because you care so much about it and so passionate about it. So you want all your waking hours, including like your weekdays and your weekends, for your craft because you're so motivated to improve yourself. So it's like interesting. And then that's kind of like what I chose to write my about. So I was so honored to be in the book, and I love the book. It's fun to read.
Yeah, that's very fun.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dina.
And I am Natasha Navarro. I am the co-founder of Million Dollar Mom Society along with Anisa. And I basically kind of was telling the history of, being a woman who honestly thought she would never have kids and always saw myself as being somebody who was a corporate executive and carried a briefcase and, was in the military and had all these dreams. But I always knew that I wanted entrepreneurship was my side hustle since I was in my, 16 years old, basically. And then when I had kids in my early 40s, I was like, oh, this is a big enough why for me to let go of all of the golden handcuffs that a corporate type of job provides for you and dive into entrepreneurship in its entirety so that I can spend my days the way I want with my kids. Like, I chose to wait later in life, and now I want to be as present as possible with them. And this was the best way to do that. And it has not ever disappointed to date so far. And my kids, as soon as we're done with this, I'm logging off and going to go spend the afternoon with my kids. So it's been a beautiful journey, and it's one that I think that a lot of women are dreaming about, and they need to know that it's a possibility.
That's true, Natasha. And many of us, actually, many women out there, we live under the weight of pressure, societal, familiar, and all of those. Can you share a moment when any of you ladies can share, when you started recognizing that you were just living under the pressure and instead you need to live with purpose? What changed after that?
Yeah, for me, I mean, there was really a pivotal moment in my life, and it was a combination of a couple of things. I had moved from New Jersey to Florida with my family right around the same time I was diagnosed with melanoma. So it was kind of like, welcome to
Mm,
the Sunshine State, but stay out of the sunshine. But, thank God it's treatable, and it's all part of God's plan for me. And it really helped put my mortality into perspective and make me realize what's truly important in my life, which is my time. And then right around that time, my daughter had come to me and said, Mommy, how come you don't love us anymore? And I was like, oh my goodness, of course that's not true. But in her toddler mind, it was true. So those pivotal moments kind of compounded and formed this spiritual awakening that I had, where I was like, I have to help women. I've been through a lot of trauma in my life. I've been working with men for the past decade, and now I have to help women. That is what God put me on this earth for. And I had done a lot of things previously, but I just knew that this was my calling. And I wanted to help women in business and create lives where they too could live in their purpose.
thank you. Thank you so much, Anita. Anybody would like to share?
I can jump in, I guess. So for me, it was really about when I became a mom. I took a year off with my first son from working, doing any work, and I was honestly going a little stir crazy because I had always worked my whole life, and the thought of not doing that and not being productive, and the pressures that come with that. But then I felt this new type of pressure where it was like, now I'm taking time away from my baby to go work. Whenever, even as an entrepreneur, whatever it is, that guilt that you feel and the pressure of like separating those two things out. So what I really learned was, for myself, if I made my business my mission and my purpose, and I was really focused on that being something where I could integrate my family into it, and they were, they came along for the ride. I didn't have to separate those two things out. It has made it so much more enjoyable for me. Like I said, I can
Mm,
spend 2 or 3 hours in the morning doing this and feeling excited. Like today, we just had, Anissa and I have had like the most insane last 4 hours in our business. Just all this crazy stuff is amazing, beautiful things are happening. And then I get to log off and go snuggle with my 2-year-old and my 4-year-old. I'm like, oh, like this is the life that, I've dreamt of. You just don't even know if it's a reality. But that's the pressure never goes away. The stress never goes away, but it's really just learning out how to refocus it into something that is like purposeful enough and your mission driven enough that you are able to keep yourself going in the times where everything feels heavy and it feels like maybe this isn't the right thing for you. And especially having a partner like Anissa too has been really helpful, and being able to find somebody who feels the same way about business and life. But that, I think, is the one of the best ways to do it, is really focusing on your mission and keeping your family as part of that.
and I love that you mentioned earlier that you don't have to separate them. Your career and your family doesn't have to be separate, where you're away from your family for a good chunk of the day every day and not see them at all, versus when you can run your own business at the same time, be there, still be present for them. Maybe I can ask this to Julie. This particular freedom is wonderful, but a lot of us are afraid because it's unknown, letting go. We've always been in the corporate world. We've always
Mhm.
had this job, and stepping into something unknown, stepping into something that we're not really sure if it's going to work or not, is scary. What was the catalyst for your change, and how did you navigate through this unknown?
That is a great question. It was definitely scary, and I had a lot of unknowns. I burned the bridge pretty quickly, or the boats, because there was no turning back for me. So I had
Mm,
a lot of faith in what I was doing, just like Anisa and Natasha have talked about. I believe in entrepreneurship through and through. That helped. I made a ton of connections, and all of those things that I was doing, all those building blocks helped me to have faith every single day. And I don't tend to live in fear. I tend to live one day at a time because that helps us navigate fear. And I don't look at tomorrow and, the big scary, what's going to happen in a month. And I was very lucky. I
Mm.
had my husband supporting me all along. And my why was huge. My why was really, really huge. It's just like Anisa and Natasha have talked about. I was missing a lot of things. I have aging parents that I don't live in the same state with. So,
Mm.
and I was missing a lot of things with my grown and flown children. And my husband was a lot more free than I was. So that 9 to 5 and 1 week's vacation, it just wasn't working for me anymore. So knowing your why, having a huge support system, doing the work. You have to put the work in, networking, connecting to people. All those things were my building blocks so that I could soar and get where I'm at today. And where I was at in January of 2025 versus July 8th of 2025 are worlds apart. So I want to encourage any women that's listening, follow your heart, put your best foot forward, have faith, have faith, have faith, have faith, but do the work and show up. And those things will be your building blocks. And always, always, always tap into your why. Every single morning, hit the ground running. Why am I doing this? Because that motivates us every single day. So those are the things
I
that
love
help. Yes, it's scary. But if you're driven by fear alone, you won't do it. We just won't do it.
Mm.
So that's what I did. That's what I continue to
That's
do. And I
what
think any woman should live her life that way because it's very empowering.
it is. It is. And thank you so much for sharing that, Julie. Maybe I can ask now Dina or Tamika. Healing and identity are a recurring theme within the book. How did you redefine yourself, and what was the impact that you had while working on this particular project? Yes, Dina, you want to share something?
Sure. I love working with other women and I love reading their stories and being a part of it. So I think that just the idea of I did like a meditation before I wrote my chapter and actually came out and flowed really easily. And so I did like a writer's meditation and then I just kind of allowed my chapter to flow through me and kind of what I wrote is what came out.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much. And Tamika, what advice would you give to someone who feels stuck but he senses that they were made to be more?
What advice would I give someone? I will tell them to do it, but do it scared, right? Do it scared. All my life,
Mm.
I struggled with public speaking, not being worthy enough, or beautiful enough, or the enoughs, right? But once you step outside of yourself and know that you're doing it for such a time as this, and you're doing it for to empower someone else, right? That woman who's stuck or fearful or living in scarcity mindset or lack. When you know you're doing
Mm.
it for a greater purpose or a bigger purpose, then it gets easier. But do it scared, right? And the more you do it, guess what? That fear get quieter and quieter, and that's what I'm learning.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And you mentioned that mindset. Let's talk about this particular mindset. What limiting beliefs did you have to unlearn in order to step into the alignment?
For me, it was the public speaking, right? Because self-limiting belief,
Mm.
um, that I wasn't worthy enough or good enough, or nobody wants to hear me talk. Growing up in the South, it was kind of embedded in me. Going to school every morning, my mom, she grew up with the racism and all the things, right? So she would say, "Go to school,
Mm.
be quiet, don't be seen, don't be heard, don't cause any smoke." So I kind of lived my life like that, right? I took a back seat to everything in life. I was in the back, right? until after I retired from the military and found out who Tamika really was, right? I found my identity. It wasn't the military, it wasn't a nurse, it wasn't all these accolades that we tend to give ourselves, right? Or society put on us, right? I discovered who
Mhm.
Tamika really was. And that's when I learned to step into my power, right? And know my worth and you know, who I am, right? So just do it scared, but continue to grow, right? With the positive mindset. And that was the shift for me after I retired was hiring a life coach, which I'm a life coach now, but I hired a life coach. I had a therapist as well. And my life coach once told me, therapist is super dope, but a life coach is amazingly dope, right? They help you, the therapists help you unpack the shit, right? And then the life coach helps you close that garbage can and take it to the curb for the garbage man to pick it up. So that's kind of how my life coach explained it to me. So I'm so grateful for her, because if not, I wouldn't be here with the mindset that I have now. So I'm a work in progress, but I'm all for it.
Wonderful. Thank you
Love
so much
that.
for sharing, Tamika. Yes. Anything else?
Oh, I was saying I love that, Tamika. That was awesome.
And I give kudos to Anessa and Natasha. I think they really pulled something out of me that I didn't know I had in myself. So
Mm.
it's been a process for me, and I thank God for every Monday that I begin to self reflect and start anew. So I really want to give kudos and I'm seeing them grow quantum leap so much. And sometimes I'm on scrolling through social media looking at their posts, and I'm like, wow, they are doing a doggone thing, right? And it gives me so much hope, joy, and motivation to know I can do the same thing, right? Empowering women, one woman at a time.
That's wonderful. Yes, that's true. Anisa, Natasha, do you like to share anything when it comes to this mindset? What specific mindset or what belief you had to unlearn in order to get into this alignment where you are right now?
I just think that mindset, it all comes down to the belief in yourself. You shape your destiny and reality by your beliefs, particularly about the beliefs in yourself. So whether you think you can or you think you cannot, you are correct. And when you believe in yourself and you take aligned action every single day towards the goals and dreams that you have, the sky is not the limit, you are.
Yeah, and I'll jump on top of that. I don't know why my mom just kind of always raised. I have there's four girls, so three sisters, and I'm the oldest of the four. And my mom just never led us to believe that we couldn't do anything. Like it was always just it wasn't even talked about. It was just kind of one of those unspoken things where it was like, well, duh, you'll just do great things. Like that's just the way it is. It wasn't even an expectation. It was just one of those things. So I never doubted myself about anything, and sometimes probably to a fault that I'm just like, I don't know, I'm just going to make it happen. I don't even worry about the why or the how. Like I'm like, the how is none of my business. It's going to happen. So, sometimes I think that is one of the biggest gifts you can give yourself, is just to be your biggest believer and biggest cheerleader, and don't let the people around you, the naysayers, even impact you, because they don't live your life. They don't pay your bills. They're not the ones who ultimately, get to have the consequences of your decisions nor the benefits of your decisions. So, um, you are your biggest asset, your most highest appreciating valued asset. So invest in yourself, believe in yourself. You got this.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Maybe we can go around this time. We'll have a little game. I would call it rapid fire round. I'll ask you questions and then you can just give me the very first thing that comes into your mind. We'll start with Anita, Julie, Dina, Tamika, and then Natasha. All right, ready? All right. First question. What's one thing you do every Monday that sets the tone for your week? Anita.
I start my mornings with prayer, meditation, gratitude, me time. Even before my children wake up, I am working out. I am reading the Bible. I am, setting intentional goals for the day. And these are non negotiables in my life and my business. And I do that not only every Monday, but 7 days a week. The weekends are no different. Every single day is important. we're only on this earth for a short period of time. We're here for a good time, not a long time. So we really have to make every single day count, but especially Monday, only because that is setting the tone for the entire week.
Thank you. Julie?
I also do similar things to as Anisa spoke about, but now since thank God it's Monday, I actually add my Monday manifesto that is part of my chapter. So I feel it's very empowering to me, and I'm excited to share it with other business owners because I'm an executive coach. That was one of my goals when I wrote the chapter, and other women, anybody that wants it to, really tap into their empowerment. So that's something I've added to my Monday, and it's just affirmation statements about it. And I'm excited to have it in the book, and so I'm using that personally. Practice what we preach.
Awesome. Awesome, Dina.
I like to start my morning off with a dream journal. I'm very into lucid dreaming, and so I have these very wild dreams at night where I can spend months working on a project, and then I'll wake up and I'll try to write as much of it down as I can. And that's something that's really interesting to me because my ability to dream and to create in my dream world is so different, because in the real world, you can't just snap a finger and it's right there in front of you. But in my dream world, I've created, these stages where I'm speaking on stage, and we have all these women, and everybody that I know, geography isn't an issue, and it's really fun for me. So I think that's something that's unique about my morning, is that I write about all my dreams.
Awesome. Thank you. Yes, Tamika.
So for me, Monday mornings, it's like any other morning. I get up and I meditate. I try to go into my imagination for a little bit, dream about my dream husband. The house, the business, the millions in my account, all the things. Right, I go into my imagination and I try to stay there at least for 5-10 minutes, and then I start my day. Routine, get up and get my daughter up and all the things. But yeah, Monday's just a day to, like Anissa said, to reflect, restart your week, and to plan out your week and to make sure that you have everything in place so you'll have a successful.
Yeah. And for me, I have a 2-year-old and 4-year-old who don't love to sleep at night. So really, it just depends if I got enough sleep on Sunday night, what the hell I do with Monday morning. But most Mondays, what I try to do is get up early, work out, listen to some good, like a podcast or something that's going to get me in, like the right headspace for whatever's happening, spend some time with my kids, jump on an operations style call with Anissa. And that really sets the tone for the rest of our week, because we are building $1 million brands. So we have to treat it as such, regardless if we got sleep or not. But yeah, I think that also can be part of your routine, is being flexible. You never know what's going to happen. And if you are so strict about like this, if this didn't happen on Monday morning, then that means my whole week is ruined. No, it doesn't. The next day is another day and you can start anew. So it doesn't have to be like so particular. It's just like every minute is an opportunity for you to get yourself into the right headspace.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. Next question. What is one word that describes it now?
For me, one word that describes my life before choosing purpose is chaos, and one word that describes it now is peace.
Oh, that's wonderful. I love that. Julie? Oh,
You're
I
on
think you're
mute.
muted.
Before would be lack of purpose because I was working a 9 to 5 where my heart was not in it. And now it's total purpose and passion. And it's a feeling like none other. I hope everybody listening, everybody that reads a book, every woman feels that passion and purpose in their life. It's beautiful.
Thank you. Dina?
I would say before exploratory. I think ever since I was little, I would always ask so many questions and I was always looking to explore new ideas. And I would say now is intentional. because now I try to line the dots and I say, all right, I explored so many different things. Now it's time to line up the dots and be intentional about making it all come together in a really beautiful picture.
Great, great, awesome. Yes, Tanika.
So for me, I think passion to serve um, was my before, which, I always say that service is in my DNA, hence why I joined the military,
Mm,
hence why I became a nurse and now life coach. So just serving others is my passion. But I finally found my purpose and alignment,
mm.
right? So I'm aligning with my purpose and it feels so damn good. That's how I know that I'm being aligned with my purpose.
Yeah, I would say mine was before like anxiety because I knew there was something, I just couldn't figure it out, and now it's like excitement. Because now I'm like, yes, this is it. It's dialed in. I finally found it. It's like of all the things I tried, this it led me to this one moment in time.
Wonderful. Well, I'm so happy to hear all of those words. What can you share a book, a quote, or a mantra that inspires your journey today?
For me, Think and Grow Rich was, I think, for many people, especially entrepreneurs, is one of the books that people read and it really changes their life. That and The Secret, once, life before The Secret is never the same after you've read it. So, anybody who's read it, if you know, you know. And if you don't know, you need to know.
Thank you.
Mine would be a
Julie?
mantra. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
Mine would be a mantra. Superman isn't real and he's not coming to save you. Be your own inner superhero. I grew up with Superman, and that's my mantra.
Thank you. Awesome. Yes, Dina.
I would say the book The Go-Giver and the character Pindar and the idea of being a connector. I think after I read that book, it was realizing that being a connector is a very real role. And so I think that was an important book to me to read.
Great. Thank you. Yes, Tanika.
So for me, it's my go-to affirmation is everything is working out for my greater good, no matter how it look. Everything is working
Mm,
out for your greater good, no matter how it look.
Absolutely.
wonderful.
And you have to
Wonderful.
feel it. You
Yeah,
can't just say it. It's one thing to say it, but to believe it and feel it, then that's when you know everything is working out for your greater good, no matter how it looks.
Mine would be a book actually that I've read a few different times now, but it's called 10x is easier than 2x. And it is all about like how we think like for next year, my goals have to be this much bigger to da da da. When we realize it could be so much easier to go to here than it is to here. And you start shooting for these big dreams. Like I think about Anissa and I, when we started 12 months ago, our dream was like here. And then before we knew it, our dream was here. And now it's going even crazier. And it was so much easier to get there than we realized it. So shoot for the dang stars. That's all I can tell you.
that's wonderful. Now, going back to your book, you all have shared, different chapters in this particular book. What do you hope your readers would walk away after reading your chapter?
For me, I just want readers to understand that no matter what you have on your heart, whatever your calling is, whatever people are telling you around you, go for it. God put you on this earth for a purpose and you have a mission that you need to carry out. And you should just continue to believe in yourself, because when you do and you take those steps every single day towards your dreams and your goals, there's nothing you can't do. And I just want the
Mm,
readers to understand that. I mean, Natasha and I were just talking about this today. We had this incredible day where like back to back calls all day long, like one kept getting better than the next. And we still have one more after this. And we already know that one's going to be phenomenal too. And it's amazing because just a year ago, we were talking about how we were like juggling a bunch of different MLMs and like network marketing things, just trying to make a couple of dollars online. And now we're building a $1 million brand. It's insane. And we want to show women what's possible.
thank you, Anisa. Julie?
I would say belief in yourself, a couple things, belief in yourself, and number 2, what can we really control in our life? What are the
Mm,
controllables? Ourself.
thank
At the end of the day, we can control how we think, how we act, how we behave. We can't control other people. And when we have that belief in ourselves and that understanding that it starts with us, the sky is the limit. So that's what I hope the readers take away.
From my chapter, I would like the readers to take away to follow your intuition on whether to speed up or slow down in your life. Sometimes it's a good time to, go full steam ahead, and sometimes it's a good time to just take a break and relax and slow everything down. So I would say your intuition can guide you. And if we start to tap into that, we can really allow ourselves to have a really beautiful harmony in our life where we don't feel the pressure of the clock, when we feel like we're in like a harmonious state, whether it's going fast or going slow.
So I hope the reader will take away from my chapter basically just saying yes to life, yes to being reborn
you.
every Monday, yes to new possibilities, new beginnings every Monday, and just stepping out on faith and do it, but do it scared. If you have to do it scared, do it scared, but just do it.
Love that. I would say mine is the whole 2U, 4U concept. There's so many times things are happening, and kind of what Tamika said earlier, where we're frustrated and we feel like we're not on the right path, and it feels like thing after thing is happening as obstacle after obstacle. And all of a sudden, if we could look down 10 years from now, looking down, we'd be like, oh my gosh, this was all happening for me. I just didn't realize it. I didn't realize there was a bigger plan, a bigger mission, a bigger vision. And so just trusting that you're on the right path, you're doing the right things, your mission is important and it's valuable and it's meant to reach the masses. You just have to keep going.
That's wonderful. Well, thank you so much, ladies. To wrap this up, this book isn't just a collection. It's not just a collection of stories. It's a movement. What legacy do you hope it leaves behind? Anybody can share.
You're on mute, Anissa.
Um, I
Anissa.
think you're on mute, Anita.
Sorry. Kids were screaming in the background. For me, it's all about, being raised by a single mom and always struggling growing up financially. We were always wanting for things, not being able to afford certain things. And it's that's not a legacy that I ever wanted to leave for my children, because my mom had really, really big dreams and hopes. And she, I know, wanted to be an entrepreneur, but she chose motherhood instead because she was a single mom. And for me, I just want to show women that they don't have to choose, even if you are a single mom, even if you are in the thick of it. You don't have to choose between motherhood and entrepreneurship. You can have it all. Or if you want to be a career woman, whatever it is that makes you happy and fulfills you, you don't have to choose. Like, that is the legacy that I want to leave for my children. I want them to know that whatever it is, they don't have to go out and just do, work a 9 to 5 because that's what school tells them and society tells them. And that's my legacy that I want to leave for my children. And that this book is a huge part of that.
Thank you, Anita. Anybody else would like to share?
I'll go. So I was told when I was 17 years old by my high school guidance counselor that I wasn't college material. And I
Mm,
didn't have a plan B. I was going to college no matter what. My grandmother in the 1930s was a Penn State teacher's graduate, now Penn State University, right? So she was my role model, and I wasn't going to hear no. And I did not want to stay in the very small rural town I was in. And just like many of us maybe can relate, I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my hand. Um, and I was determined that life was going to be different. And I hope that women read this book, read my chapter, and really internalize that we can do anything we set our mind to, control the controllables, put the work in, and you too can be extremely successful in your life. That's my hope. I'm not any different, any more special than anybody else in the face of this planet, I believed that life is to be lived. I believed in a bigger purpose, and I put the work in and day out, and I had a lot of mentors and support along the way, which is what we all need. So I'm hoping that my legacy is empowering women, empowering anybody that reads this, that they too can fulfill their dreams, regardless of the inner critic, regardless of the head trash, if you will, that they've been told along the way. Because if you dissect it, it's just a false narrative.
Thank you so much, Julie. Dina, Tamika, do you
I
have
hope,
anything to share? Yes.
yeah, I hope more and more women are inspired to be part of anthologies. I think that it's amazing to be able to leave behind your words for future generations. I think that now when we have mass publication and it's easier barrier to entry for us to be able to come together and write these stories, that I hope that this book inspires more and more people to be part of their own anthology and to start anthologies, so that way for our future generations they can read a part of our mind.
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah.
So I would just say really quick, to let a takeaway or a challenge, rather, for the listeners on Monday.
Hmm.
Thank God it's Monday. On Monday, let's start with a new mindset, right? Let's press reset on Monday and do the thing that you always wanted to do but kept putting off, right? So let's start Monday. Let's make that a challenge. All the listeners who are listening, start Monday. Thank God it's Monday. Press reset and do something that you always, if you write it down, take a picture, put it on the refrigerator, but let that be your accountability. But that one step, that one thing that you've been dreaming about doing, do it. Start it. If it's writing a book, start it. If it's owning a business, start it. I've never thought that I would become an entrepreneur. Never. I never dreamed of become. Never ever crossed my mind. But I'm here, right? And if I can do it, guess what? So can you. Thank God it's Monday.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, thank you so much, Anisa, and to all these incredible authors for reminding us that we can choose a purpose over pressure and fall back in love with our lives every single day, not just on Monday. Well, thank you. Thank God it's Monday is now available on Amazon in both ebook and paperback. So if you're ready to redefine success and make every day feel like a gift, grab your copy today and join this movement towards living on purpose. Thanks, everyone. Have a nice day.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
All right. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.